So whether or not animals had a soul was one of the most popular topics of debate during the late 17th century, and not just among crackpots, as it might be today. It was the top, in Locke's essay concerning human understanding, there were 3 or 4 pages devoted to the possibility of whether or not this parrot could enter into lengthy, sustained, rational conversation with other human beings. As this example may suggest, the English tended to be more generous in their perception of animals, of non-human animals, than the Cartesians were, even though there was at least one genuine English Cartesian. And most 18th century English writers tended to assume that animals and humans differed more in degree than in kind. So you'll see in the 18th century poetry devoted to the evils of hunting, and you'll see descriptions of a universe in which humans and animals alike were thought to be the beneficiaries of God's natural resources. The whole question of the human-animal relationship, and with that, the question of animal ensoulment, culminated in English Romanticism. And all of the poems that I assigned to you were from that period in the late 18th century, where writers like William Wordsworth and Samuel Taylor Coleridge and Mary Shelley either took animals as their subject or questioned in their poems the nature of the human-animal divide. So let's talk a little bit about Barbot's The Mouse's Petition, which in some ways is a very complicated poem. Leaving aside just for a moment the circumstances behind its writing and looking at the language itself, the poem contains within it a Pythagorean idea that the world may be composed of something called the world spirit, or anima mundi, a force that runs through humans and animals alike. Here's the way Barbot puts it. The mind, as ancient sages taught, a never-dying flame, shifts through matter's varying forms. Well, this is one of the arguments that the mouse makes for why he shouldn't be squashed. He continues, beware lest in the worm you crush a brother's soul you find, and tremble lest thy luckless hand dislodge a kindred mind. This notion of kinship you also see between humans and animals. You also see in Coleridge's to a Young Ass, and in Coleridge's insistence that the donkey is his brother. Now, this line, by the way, was made fun of by some other writers, including Byron, as being exemplary of Romanticism's excesses, but I don't think that should negate the fact that there were writers during the Romantic period and perhaps before who were seriously considering the nature of our relationships with animals. Talk more about that in the next clip.